Hello, Norman and Clarice here, and we've had lots of questions asked about why we went with a Propride brand hitch. So before I start this video, I do want to clarify this video is not sponsored by Ford, nor Airstream, nor Propride, and they have had nothing to say about the content of it. So the question that we get asked really often is why would somebody spend $3,000 for a fancy load leveling / sway control hitch when there's a whole lot of other options out on the market? The answer to that partially goes to our tow vehicle. And our tow vehicle is a 2019 Ford F-150 with a diesel engine. And we really like the vehicle. Without the trailer, when we're not towing, we get anywhere from 25 to 30 miles per gallon on the freeway. And while towing, we usually get about 14.5 miles per gallon average, and that includes a lot of mountains, a lot of passes, a lot of flat areas. That's our average over about 16,000 miles of towing. So the other issues of why we like it are it's quiet and comfortable. It's got a number of four-wheel drive options, so we took it through the washes in the deserts in the Southwest and never got stuck with it. It's been a great vehicle for us, and my wife likes that she doesn't have to take a ladder to get up into it. That said, it has one issue that is a bit of a problem for towing, and that it's very light. It's got an aluminum body, and the result of that was that for the first 8,000 miles when we towed the trailer, it came to us with a standard anti-sway load leveling hitch. And as a result, when a semi passed us or when we had a severe side wind, we would find ourselves automatically tensing up and gripping the wheel. It wasn't a big deal, it was safe to drive, but the reality was that it added to the tension of driving, which I think adds to driver fatigue. So the answer that people suggested was get a bigger tow vehicle. We had no interest in a bigger tow vehicle, nor did we have it in the budget. When we compared that, the result was that a $3,000 trailer hitch sounded like a pretty good deal, if it would work. And we're just going to say right here at the beginning, it did work. When we used to have two hands gripping the wheel tightly when a semi passed us, we now just are barely touching the wheel and go, oh, a semi passed us. So let's drop over and take a good look at the hitch here. The hitch itself, I really don't understand. I'm very mechanical, and I still can't explain how it changes the loads so that you don't get sway. You don't get sway, though, with it. It works as advertised. The complaints about it, number one, is it's expensive. So we've already addressed that question. When it comes in the box, it really is intimidating. This whole piece on the front comes in there's three total boxes when you get it in the mail. Each one, I think, was 70 pounds. So the idea of taking this off and on every time was like, oh, you've got to be kidding me. Well, the good news is, yes, you don't have to. It takes a while to dial this in and get it set up on your trailer. I don't know, maybe 2-3 hours when I first set it on the trailer and got it all measured and put in place and all the things you had to do to get it to work. But once it's there, it stays there. And that takes away a lot of that issue of taking care of it. The other thing I want to show you is how the front of this moves, and see if I can keep the camera in focus and show you. This thing moves sideways like that. And when we go to back into it, we will try to have it perfectly centered. Now, I tried making this video yesterday, and the reality was we had an angled approach to it, which is pretty difficult, and hand-holding the camera with one hand and trying to back the truck with the other, I simply couldn't manage it. When we first got the hitch, this is one of the questions, is how are these things to hitch up? It took us, 3 to 4 times every time we tried to hitch to it, which was daily for an 8,000 mile journey over several months, until we got really good at it, and most of the time we hit it dead on the first time now. Sometimes we have to adjust and take a second shot at it. But it really is not much worse than using a standard ball type coupler once you get used to it. And that's the big part of this video, is showing how we go about that. The paint on the front, that the orange around the target as I refer to it, I put on. I find it just easier with my style of backup camera to back into it. The red above that is something I added. It's a piece of reflector tape. Another change I have made since buying the hitch, the tensioner bars, the load leveling bars, you do adjust every time you take it on or off. And you want to put them back to the same place you had them the time before. The first time we set them up, we emailed the company and said, hey, this is working great as far as sway, but I have a little bit of a hobby horse motion for up and down. And within 20 minutes, the owner of the company replied, and I understand this is pretty typical of their responsiveness, and said, oh, lift your bars another ½ an inch and that'll go away. He was correct, and then the trick was to adjust them the same every time. We did, for the first times, what a number of owners that we've talked to do. We took our tape measure and measured it. Then I tried painting, then I tried different things to see if I could get it to make it easier and faster. And what I came up with were these yellow or bright orange, see if I can get a good focus here, little pieces of metal that I added on. Those are just bolted onto the bolts, the U-bolts that hold the jacks in place, and when we get the jack to the top of that piece of metal, it's in the right place. The other thing we do, when you get this from Propride, it comes with a ratchet that is about 10 inches long, and we found that it really didn't provide the leverage my wife needed, and with the propane tank where it is, it was hard to use. As a result, we went with we use a drill with a 3/4 socket on it. It's the same size socket that fits the stabilizer jacks on the Airstream, or you can use the hand crank that comes with the trailer. Either of those choices work really well for making the adjustment really fast once you know where you're going to. I think that's everything I wanted to cover up at the front, so let's go to the back of the truck now. And we'll look at what I refer to as the stinger. This is what you put on the back of the truck in place into your normal drawbar. And this is what has to go into that square hole on the front of the trailer. At the head of it, just before the cross piece, it is tapered, so it does self-align to an extent. The disadvantage to it is it's very heavy, and just like any other hitch style for the heavy-duty hitches, I think it's about the same weight. It still is no fun to put it in. That said, it does go in, it ties in. There is an advantage to it. The Airstreams are notorious for the tongue jack is so far forward on them that you can't open your tailgates. And people have tried rotating the tongue jack around and so forth. It didn't work for us. But once we got the Propride hitch on, we can now open our tailgate and get access to the back of the truck with the hitch in place and the trailer in place. That's really a big advantage in my mind. Disadvantage to that, because it moves it back so far, we have tried, this truck does come equipped with the Ford Pro backup system, and unless they make some software changes, it simply can't adapt to that distance from the truck to the trailer. The last thing I'll say is the backup camera on this truck is perfectly positioned and of really good quality, so I'm able to back up using it exclusively to aim at the trailer. The only disadvantage is I can't adjust up and down. I can't see that in the backup camera, so if I'm doing this alone, I will have to go back at some point and manually stop the truck just before I get to the hitch on the trailer, and go up and down with the jack until it's aligned. Or if we have two people, which we often do, then Clarice will stop me and say she needs to adjust the jack up and down, gets it adjusted, and I back into it. So with that, we'll proceed, and this is actually the afternoon. We parked the trailer here this afternoon, and in the morning then I won't have to rush around trying to make a video as we're trying to get ready to go, and we'll see if we can make this work with the actual connecting. So we're back, it's the next morning, and we are trying to hook up the trailer and see if we can make it look easy today. I'm trying to handhold a camera and drive the car using the backup camera. What I'm trying to do is get my stinger line straight up in the thing, and I missed. So Clarice is indicating I need to go forward. Here we go. She's working on getting the up and down setting. Jarvis is making sure he's giving me directions with the barking. And that time it went in perfectly. I'm going to put the brake on in the truck and head back and show you how we attach this. So the way this is held on is these bars come forward, and what they refer to as their over-center cams. And they provide a breaker bar and socket. They refer to it as the over-center cam tool. And then it just locks in with what I refer to as trailer pins. See if I can get not sure if I can focus that close or not. And now I need to do the one on this side. So just this one went real easy. Clarice is putting in the trailer pin, or the tractor pin as I refer to it. And now we go, and she's going to, if I can come over on the side, she's on. Way out of box hook. Trying to use manual focus here. There we go. And she's going to use the jack and run it up to the orange mark. And now we'll go over to the other side. Same thing. Runs the jack up to the orange mark. And the Propride is connected at this point. We just do the normal hitch up things of connecting emergency breakaway chains and breakaway brake and lights and all that. The only thing to pay attention to is Propride is very specific that you run the chains between the equalizer bars. So with that, that's what it looks like when it's hooked up. And we are parked in the middle of the campground driveway, so we need to stop the video and